We've just got ourselves a doggo, and we need a place to keep his leash and harness. So today we're making this dog leash holder for the wall using walnut and epoxy. Let's get into it. The very first thing that we need to do is print off a dog paw on some paper and cut it out. We can then measure this against the available scraps and see what size paw fits what piece of wood the best. I cycled through some options, noodling around for a little while before settling on this piece of walnut. Once I'd picked the piece, it was a case of lining up the components, so the paw and the hook, and getting a good feel for how big the piece needs to be when it's done. Some might like it shorter, some might like it taller. I went for a more medium length because I know that there's going to be plenty of room to fill when I'm going to be putting this on the wall. With the wood chosen and marked out, it's time for us to chop, rip, and mill the piece down to size and shape. For the paw, I had to choose whether I wanted a through hole, i.e. cut all the way through, or an epoxy fill. I decided I want to go with epoxy, so to do this I'd need to use a router and carve out the shape of the paw, and to do that I needed to make sure that I had the template secured to the piece. I started with some masking tape, or painter's tape if you speak in freedom units, to make sure that the routing would leave a clean cut, and so that when we stick the template down it would peel off nice and clean without leaving any gunk behind. I'm using some spray adhesive here, and oh boy, I think I picked up the wrong stuff. I was expecting some fine mist action, instead got this ridiculous Spider-Man in a can nonsense that just sprayed hunks of glue everywhere. I had to hold the button down gently to get a tiny feed to come out so that I could get the template glued without drenching it. There's nothing wrong with the product per se, I just bought the big boys toys instead of the Beardy's first spray can. Oh, and wear gloves for this, the glue took forever to get off. After sticking the piece down, I waited for a while for the adhesive to set. I added some masking tape to help keep it in place and to make sure I didn't get any glue gunk all over my new router base. I used an itty bitty teeny tiny shank bit in my router to do this work. I wanted a small bit for precision and a bit with a flat bottom to keep the carving clean. I couldn't just plunge the bit in to start, so I had to wiggle it back and forth a bit to carve out a hole for itself before moving it around to the shape of the template. I imagine this would have been easier to start off with a drill bit, but I don't think I'd have had the precision to get the depth bang on. I had to be careful with the paw toes, whatever they're called. I had to be careful there because the gaps between each toe was actually quite small, so on a practice cut earlier I managed to blow out the gap between two paw toe things, so effectively ruining the cut. So yeah, be careful, leave plenty of room. While I've got the router out, it's time to give this a nice chamfer all around the outside. A quick once or twice over with the sander and cleaning up the chamfers before moving on to the epoxy. This is my first time using epoxy, so I bought a kit off Amazon with some pigments to basically have a noodle around and see how this stuff works. I've put links to both in the description. With gloved hands, I mixed 10 milliliters of both epoxy and the activator, so 20 ml in total, in this handy little cup that it came with until it looked like it had been mixed well. I then added a few drops of black pigment to, color it black. I didn't really care about transparency, so I added a drop or two more than I probably needed to make sure that it was black. And it's time for the paw. The paw. The paw. Actually, the paw itself was alright, until it wasn't. Such foreshadowing, wow, I'm so good at this. I took my time and poured the mix gently into the paw carving. I made sure not to overfill where possible because I knew I'd end up having to sand that mess away. I poured a bit in, waited for it to settle, then topped it up as needed. After a couple of days, the resin still felt a little bit rubbery to me. I think it wasn't curing very quickly, and I think that's because I didn't keep it in a warm environment like you're supposed to. Anyway, I figured I'd try to carve off some of the excess to make the sanding easier, but it was still a bit too soft to do that. I gave up after a quick few tries with a sharp chisel. A week after the initial pour, I'm back in the shop to have another crack at it. I realised I'd need something on the piece to hang it on the wall, so here I'm marking out and carving out a cavity for the wall hanging bracket, which, after the fact, I probably should have done two, one on the top, one on the bottom, to stop it swinging around. I specifically didn't want to drill holes through the top and bottom because I thought they'd look a little bit pants. Now it's time to give this a sanding. I went with 120 grit, fearing a lower grit than that would pull the epoxy out as it hadn't fully cured yet, and as it turns out, some of the epoxy had been torn out even with 120 grit. I'm not going to let that stop the project, but it is a bit of a shame as it was looking really smart up until now. With the sanding done, it's time for some finish. Once again, I'm using mineral oil, more because that's all I have in the shop at the moment. I think I would have gone with some sort of lacquer on this one, as it's not impossible for the dog leash and harness to be soaking wet from all the walking outside. Mineral oil is probably fine though. Then it's time for fitting the hook, and here's where the project nearly ended up in the bin for me. The screws to fix the hook were the same size as the piece. It's going to be very close whether these things don't go busting through the back of the piece when they're fitted. After stripping one screw, I got the piece fitted, and thankfully neither screw made it through to the back of the piece. It was a bit of a close one. Now it's a case of hanging it on the wall. I simply made a hole, plugged it, and screwed in a screw and called it a day. I think this one went really well overall. The only major mistake of this project was not letting the epoxy cure properly, or not using high enough sandpaper grit, one or the other. Oh, and I'll probably end up putting that second wall mat at the bottom, like I said, to stop the whole thing from spinning. And thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and if you want to support the channel, then check out the links in the description for the Etsy shop, my Amazon affiliate links, or Patreon and YouTube memberships. Take it easy, and I'll see you next time.